Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. Movies tended to be taboo for our family when I was growing up in England. It was the same for all the children in our church. The logic behind this practice was, what if Jesus came back and found us in a movie theater? And someone astutely observed that as Christians, we would miss the end of the movie. For some reason, however, we were allowed to go to the circus when it came to town, so the circus was a special treat. Once every couple of years or so, Chipperfield's Circus, which had been entertaining Brits for nearly 300 years, would come to Bristol. The personnel, animals, clowns, and ornately carved circus wagons would parade through the streets as in triumphal entry. Conveniently, they would set up their huge one-ring tent, known as the Big Top, on Horfield Common, a short walk from our home. The Big Top would seat over 1,000 spectators, the four center poles forming a square around the ring. All of the acts seemed amazing to a young boy. Elephants and lions submitting to one man with a whip. White horses racing around the ring with the riders standing on their bare rumps. Clowns always ready to entertain between the big acts, and the acrobats. But the act that intrigued me most was the flying trapeze, where a performer would swing on a bar high above the spectators and release himself to fly across the tent and be caught by another performer. I would be in awe, contemplating the courage it took to let go of the bar and take to the air, and the strength and responsibility of the one who had to catch the flyer. My childhood memories of the circus came back to me recently when I came across an anecdote recorded by the Christian author Henri Nouwen in a book entitled Sabbatical Journeys. Nouwen wrote about some friends of his who were trapeze artists called the Flying Rudellas. They told Nouwen there's a special relationship between the flyer and the catcher on the trapeze. The flyer, of course, is the one who lets go, and the catcher, of course, is the one who catches. As the flyer swings high above the crowd on the trapeze, the moment comes when he must let go. When he arcs out into the air, his job is to remain as still as possible and wait for the strong hands of the catcher to pluck him from the air. One of the Flying Rudellas told Nouwen, the flyer must never try to catch the catcher. He must wait in absolute trust. The catcher will catch him, but he must wait. What a picture of trust. The flyer can do nothing to get to safety except let go and trust the catcher. Jesus told his followers, trust in God, trust also in me. Trust me. He said that those who believed in him, who trusted him, would gain everlasting life. The good news of the Bible is that we find peace with God when we trust what he's done for us, not what we think we have done for him. We have to let go of any thought of being able to deserve God's favor and fly into the arms of the divine catcher. I think of the publican in the Bible who prayed, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. Jesus said he returned home justified before God, unlike the proud Pharisee who told God how good he was. C.S. Lewis, the celebrated Christian scholar, wrote, the difficulty is to reach the point of recognizing that all we have done and can do is nothing. What we would have liked would be for God to have counted our good points and ignored our bad ones. Christ offers us something for nothing. He offers us everything for nothing. In a sense, the whole Christian life consists in accepting that very remarkable offer. Lewis continued, Christianity consists of not doing good things in order to be saved, but doing them because God has begun to save you already. not hoping to get to heaven as a reward for your actions, but inevitably wanting to act in a certain way because a first faint glimpse of heaven is already inside you. The Bible is packed with how a person who has let go of his self-righteousness and trusted the divine catcher should live, of course, as we let God mold our thoughts, words, and deeds. Faith without works is dead, the Apostle James wrote. But beware, our good works are not a means of obtaining God's grace. They should be the consequence of having flown into the arms of the catcher. You know, I like this meditation of the flyer and the catcher, not only because it's an illustration of faith. I like it for another reason too. Our days on this earth are numbered, and those who have trusted the divine catcher to save them will one day let go of this life and fly into the open arms to enjoy eternity with him, the divine catcher. Oh, what a prospect. You can trust the catcher. And thank you for tuning in to Village Church Connections.